Hey, welcome back to Crack's Country Cooking. I'm Ben, and today I'm going to show you how I made this. A smoked garlic herb New York roast. So you're going to need a New York strip loin, something like this. Any butcher pretty much will sell you this. If you go right up to the butcher and say that you want a strip loin still in the cryovac, they have no problem selling it to you. And usually it's cheaper because they don't have to pay anybody to process it. This one is 16 pounds. They're going to cost you 150 to 200 bucks. You can get choice prime. All they had was choice, so that's what I got. So let's take this out of the cryovac and then we'll mess around with it. So at 16 pounds, you're going to be able to feed a lot of people with this, which is pretty cheap compared to prime rib. So this is the night before I'm going to cook it. You want 12 to 24 hours to do a dry brine on this. And I'm going to shape it up the way I want it. So anything like this, that's silver skin. I'll peel that off. I'm not going to make this whole thing. I'm not going to eat this whole thing tomorrow. So I am going to square this up. Like right here, it's pretty lopsided. I'm going to square this up right about here. Save that. And now you decide on how big of a roast that you want. I'm going to cut this pretty much in half. Vacuum seal the other half. I don't need that big of a roast right now. So we'll go right here. It's a choice, like I said. It's still got some marbling in it. Prime would have been better, but you get what you can get. Probably want to peel this off. See how this basically comes right off with your hand. There's a lot of silver skin on it. I mean, basically it comes off without a knife. See, a lot of silver skin. You can see there's a lot of silver skin inside it. Don't need that. So then I'm just going to trim this up a little bit more. So you have a choice to be. There's a choice to be made here. You can either trim this fat cap down. There is silver skin underneath it, or you leave it. So the silver skin's pretty chewy. I think I'm going to take this one off. So I just take my finger underneath the fat here, use a napkin for leverage, or for grip. You can pick it up and use gravity to help you. But it mostly wants to come off all by itself. So if you look, you can see this is all silver skin right here. That is all grizzled. You're not going to be able. That won't render down. It's not like regular fat. So I'm going to pull it right off. If you want to leave the fat, you can. But like I said, the silver skin is going to make it so chewy. It's not going to be pleasant. So after extensive trimming, this is what you're left with. Trust me, I've cooked a lot of these. You want to take all that fat and silver skin off. It leads to way better product. It's really chewy if you don't. So two things. You're going to add some umami flavor with some soy sauce. It's not going to taste like soy sauce, don't worry. So just a thin layer. Now we're going to coat the crap out of it with some kosher salt. It's a thick piece of meat. It can take a lot of salt. I know there's salt in the soy sauce, but it's needed. We're going to place this in the fridge overnight on a wire rack unwrapped. That's going to help dry out the surface and make it so we get a good sear on it. So we'll see you tomorrow. So it's the next day. We got our roast out. You see it's pretty dry. Everything we put in it has absorbed into the meat. So now we're going to coat the outside with a compound butter. I couldn't find any thyme or rosemary fresh, so I have thyme rosemary mix here. We're going to take 2 tablespoons of that, add it to some hot water and let it sit for 5 minutes just to rehydrate it. Then we'll strain it out. So in a bowl, we're going to take 2 sticks of butter, salted, unsalted, it doesn't matter. So we got some whole grain mustard. We're going to use a 1/4 cup. And then we're going to take some minced garlic. You can use garlic, you can use fresh stuff. I find it's okay for this roast just to use the garlic stuff. And we're going to use Killer Hogs TX brisket rub. I'll sprinkle that in there. About a tablespoon. Give this a mix. Now our herbs, our thyme and our rosemary, we'll strain that through a fine mesh strainer. Now that they're rehydrated, add that right to our butter. This goes great on prime rib, pork loin, strip loin, beef, pork, excellent stuff. Now it's time for the dirty work. We'll take our strip loin. You can see how red it is now, bright colored. Start with the bottom. And because this just came out of the fridge, the butter is going to solidify after it's on there for a minute. Roast is room temperature. The butter will just come right off as you're wiping it. So it's best to keep it cold as long as possible. We'll put it on a wire rack, that way the butter doesn't stick to the cutting board. Yeah, this looks pretty good. Let the butter chill for a minute. So once the butter chills a little bit from the cold meat, it makes it a lot easier to spread. Helps to use a spatula as well. It's pretty much what it should look like. Alright, let's go fire up the smoker. I'm going to be using a decent amount of lump charcoal and then some hickory wood. We're running around 275 degrees. Alright, see you outside. So I got the smoker rocking about 300 degrees. We're going to put it on here, let it go for an hour. I'm going to put the fat end towards the fire and I'm going to put it on the top rack to help put a crust on the top. I'm keeping it on the wire rack just for ease of movement. All right, we'll check on this in an hour. So while we were waiting for the roast to finish up, I took 1/2 cup of sour cream, 1/4 cup of mayo, 1/4 cup of prepared horseradish. Then I took a teaspoon of mustard powder, 2 teaspoons of AP seasoning, and gave that a good mix. Then I let that sit in the fridge and mingle for a couple hours till the roast was finished. Once it's hit 115 degrees, I pulled it out, put it in a dry cooler, let it sit for an hour. It rose up to about 132, and now it's at like 120. So now we can slice it and take a look and see how we did. Let's see what we got. Perfect. Look at that. That is perfect, just what we wanted. Let's slice a piece and see how we did. Nice crust, nice and juicy. The flavors on the outside of the meat goes so well. Smoking it at that 275, 300 degree range, you get a little bit of smoke. It's not heavy at all. It goes very good with the herbs and the garlic and the butter. Horseradish sauce. That is also excellent. So this is cheaper than making prime rib. It's something a little different. You can get this pretty much anywhere. Sam's Club, any local butcher. Doing a 24-hour or doing an overnight brine really helps bring all the flavors in, the soy sauce on top. You cannot taste any soy sauce on this at all. So that's our video. If you like this video, please hit that like and subscribe button. Watch our past videos. We got more videos coming out every week. You can follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, Lemonade, all of them. All right, see ya. It's dinner time.